Hey friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite holiday shades. I grew up celebrating Christmas, so this is basically an excuse for me to share some of my favorite reds and greens, but also a couple of other shades that I think could work for the holiday season too, including New Year's Eve. So let's just get into the swatches. First up, I have Holo Taco's Favorite Sister, which I do have the coffin emoji right now. Currently, as of recording, it is still available, but it is being retired, so depending on when you see this, it just might not be around anymore, and that is such a shame because it is truly one of the most perfect holiday reds. This is in their frosted metal formula that has these beautiful silver metallic flakies that are just so shiny and mirror-like. It is just incredibly twinkly, so magical, so festive. Next, I have ILNP's Joy from the Home for the Holidays collection that came out last year. And this is your run-of-the-mill bright red jelly with a scattered hollow flaky. As I'm sure you all know, I just absolutely adore this finish from ILNP, so it's just always gonna be in one of my favorites videos. This is a beautiful, juicy and lush shade of red, just so perfect. Personally, it isn't the holiday season if I don't have a reflective glitter, and of course I have to have my red reflective from KBShimmer called Noel It All, and it's basically the same as the last shade but with reflective glitter instead of a holographic sparkle. I know reflective glitters get a bad rep because you really see how they shine under flash specifically, but I definitely think there are a lot of reflective glitters that still twinkle in regular lighting, and KBShimmer is definitely one of my favorite brands for reflectives. I have the most of them in my collection. The formulas can definitely be a little thick and gritty and finicky to work with, but the payoff is just so stunning. For a little bit more of a subdued but still sophisticated red, I have Ave Garnet, which is basically a metallic kind of formula. I feel like this has this almost satin kind of finish that reminds me of those big red Christmas bows. It just feels so luxurious and elegant to me, so definitely a little nice change of pace if, you know, you don't want to go for the full in-your-face kind of sparkle. I also really love that it's a bit of a deeper red too. I feel like that can definitely still be festive. Next, I have a couple of toppers, and the first one is Alchemy Lacquers Peppermint Twist, which is just the most perfect wintry glitter topper that features these white matte hex glitters and red metallic hex glitters. I picked this up over Black Friday last year and I was just so excited for it. Even though, again, I'm not really much of a glitter topper person these days, I just still crave them every once in a while, and this is just such a fun one to have. I think it looks super cute paired over a minty kind of base, whether it's green or blue, but I think it's also really fun over white. Even though the white does blend in, it's still so festive. Then I have Holo Taco's Disco Dust, which is their rainbow reflective glitter topper from last year's winter release. Now, admittedly, this might not look like much over a bare nail and without flash, so I am going to be showing it over a green for a more Christmassy kind of combination. This one definitely shines with flash because you just see all of that rainbow sparkle and it is just so beautiful. I feel like over green, it reminds me of Christmas lights, but layered over black, I think it definitely is so fun for New Year's Eve. Next, I have Noodles nail polishes the North Pole, which is one of the oldest polishes in my collection, but I'm sure you've seen it a couple of times on my channel before. I just really love this Crelly so much. It's this really creamy off-white kind of ivory base color that has this super tiny red and white micro glitter. I feel like a lot of my Crellys usually have larger glitters, but I'm a fan of this really tiny one. I think it gives it this almost speckled look, and it's just so festive. So I know a pure white polish can obviously transcend any holiday or season, but as a seasonal wearer, I feel obligated to wear Ave Snowy during the winter season. This is an amazing white cream though. It is my second favorite white. I just find this one to be a little bit of a thinner formula. Not that it's super runny, even though you saw me like flood my cuticles. That's just me being a messy painter, but as you saw on the first coat, it looked so even and full coverage. This has incredible pigmentation for a white, and it's definitely going to be my go-to for the season. Now getting into my greens, I wanted to show some love to CX Polish's Golden Pines. Unfortunately, this brand isn't around anymore, but I hope that it comes back someday because this winter collection in general was just so beautiful. But I remember this green being one of my favorites from the collection. It just has this beautiful and bright base color with this scattered holographic sparkle as well as this golden shimmer, and it is just so stunning. I think it lives up to the name, even though pine greens are usually a lot deeper than this. I just really love the color that it is. As you'll see though, I definitely have more of a preference towards these darker greens for the holiday season, and one of my top favorites is Zoya Merida. I don't exactly remember what this line is called from Zoya, but it basically has this super dense holographic flaky in kind of a jelly base, but it builds up really well to be full coverage, honestly. I love this finish from Zoya, and this shade is a must-have. Up next, I have Holo Taco's Wicked Potion, which, yes, I did share already in my favorite witchy core video because it is such a dark and mysterious kind of green with, I think, a pretty spooky name. But name aside, I feel like the color is just so beautiful for Christmas time. It just perfectly combines my love for these really deep green bases, but with a brighter pop of green with the magnetic stripe. And this one has hollow flakies, which I really love. But I think this one does look a little bit more festive with the velvet effect because it just really pulls all of that brighter greenish gold magnetic shimmer to the top. One of my newest favorites is Cracked Polish's Christmas Pickle. This one came out in the Food Coma collection that launched on Black Friday, and it is just another super dark green, where honestly I think the base in this one is black. I actually don't remember if it's truly black or just a blackened green, but either way it is packed with this green shimmer as well as flashes of red and gold. It is super dark, but I think definitely still festive with those little micro glitters. Another super dark green that I love is Butter London's Royal Emerald. This one came out a couple of years ago and it just immediately cemented itself as a favorite in my collection. I personally feel like this is a little too dark to be an emerald, like it's almost more in that pine green or maybe a forest green. It is just super dark, but either way I absolutely adore it. Similar to all of Ave Garnet, this one kind of has like a satiny metallic sort of shimmer finish, so it's a really nice option for a subtle festive kind of color when I don't want to be super in your face with all the sparkle. The last and darkest green that I have is ILNP's Holly. I had picked this one up last year during Black Friday and I am so in love with it. It is just so incredibly dark and kind of has this grayish or charcoal sort of undertone, which I know doesn't really sound super festive, but you know, sometimes in the winter I can get a little sad and moody, and so I'm craving these like really dark colors. So I feel like this shade is just so perfect for that, but if I wanted something a little brighter or happier, I would go with Forest Drive. Finally, moving on from the greens, I now have C&D's It's Getting Golder, which is this beautiful shade of gold in this sort of shimmery metallic kind of finish. I just absolutely love a little gold accent for the holidays, whether it's paired with red or green for Christmas or even paired with black for New Year's Eve. Either way, I just love especially this kind of shade where it's a little bit softer, not as garish. I just find it super flattering. You may also know that I'm a huge fan of rose gold, and so I wanted to highlight China Glaze's 50 Shimmering Years, which sadly is not around anymore. This was like a collaboration with Sesame Street celebrating their 50 years, but it is a beautiful rose gold micro glitter formula. Rose golds are so interesting because there's such a wide spectrum of the colors they can be. Some can be a lot more pink, while others are darker and more bronzy or coppery. I feel like this one almost has like a champagne kind of quality to it, and I love it. And lastly, I have KBShimmer's Out of Sequins. This is just a silver reflective glitter topper that I think is just a staple for the holiday season. Like I mentioned, I'm a big fan of reflective glitters, and I just really love how soft and dainty this one is. Like, even over a clear base, it has this really beautiful and dainty sparkle. It doesn't really look super gritty, which I really appreciate because sometimes toppers can do that and I feel like it almost ruins the manicure underneath, but this feels like it can just literally go over anything. So I'm showing it here over all of Ave Garnet and Butter London's Royal Emerald for some beautiful, fun, and festive combos, but you could also layer this over black for New Year's Eve. So that wraps up some of my favorite holiday shades. As always, I can't wait to hear what you think of my favorites, especially if we have any in common. You might remember a couple of years ago, I did also do a holiday favorites, and there are definitely a lot of overlapping shades, but that original video also had more colorful kind of shades too. So if you wanted more than just reds and greens, I will have that video linked in the cards if you want to watch it. But yeah, I would love to know what some of your favorite holiday shades are, if you have any like super specific ones, because I feel like mine are definitely a good mix of shades that were released for the holiday season specifically, but a lot of others just kind of weren't, but I think they just work in general. I know I've talked about it before, but I do love like a good holiday themed polish or collection. I just rarely buy them because otherwise it's gonna be sitting in my drawer and only used for that specific holiday. So I love having shades in my collection that, you know, can definitely transcend the holiday and like be worn year round or like across different seasons. But at the end of the day, I am a big seasonal kind of person. It is just how my brain works. So I just love putting these shades together in a little collection. So again, let me know what some of your favorite shades are for this time of year, or let me know any and all thoughts you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.